What's up, everyone? It is your girl, GELBEAUTY 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get to my most used palettes in my collection, episode 2. So y'all know I got a whole bunch of palettes we could go on with this forever, but I figured I'd start off with a few indie brands, a couple of luxuries here and there. So I'm just mixing stuff in. So I want to start off with a brand that recently came back onto the market. So I feel like you should know who I'm talking about. Of course, I'm talking about Dede Signature. She's supposed to be doing a restock soon, so I'm trying to grab and snatch all the stuff from her for my birthday presents. But this is the only collection I have so far. The other stuff I wanted was always selling out quick, so I don't know when it's going to restock, but I'm going to get myself on Instagram and try to make sure I find out. So these are some of my favorite palettes from the brand, and I think the quality is exceptional. I definitely think you should try them out. So this is the Exotic Skewer. This is what she looks like. As you can see, I've made quite the dip in this shade right here because I really love this palette. I think it's one of the more unique palettes in my collection. I feel like this will pair nicely with the what's that palette called? The Warlock palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. These would definitely be a gorgeous combination because they just have great countering shades to work with. Like I feel like there's a lot of shades in here that would be airbrush shades or transition shades in the crease to work with that palette, since that has lots of deeper tones in it and more jewel tones. So to me, this is the fun, bright, summery version of that palette, and I can't wait to pair these together. So I'm gonna put that in a favorite palette combination video probably soon. But you know, I love that palette. That's probably my favorite one out of all three, which is why I was at the top. Next, we have the Caramel Skewer. And of course, y'all should know why I love this. I mean, it's like a miniature version of a rainbow palette, which I'm definitely here for. You got your like cool tone blues and like greens here, and then you got kind of like a warm tropical color you can do with the yellow, the pink, and the shimmery pink. So I like both of these if you like a 3-color look that you can do really quick, because you can use this as your transition shade and in the crease. You can use the pink on the outer B, and then you can put this on the lid, and you can do the same thing with these other colors over here. I definitely love the combination of this. I gave y'all 4 looks with these palettes when the brand first decided they were coming back out into business. So I'm definitely excited that they came back, and I can't wait to use some more of their products. The last one I have to talk about is the Juicy Skewer. So if you like a more red tone look, I feel like this is more like a holiday palette for you. So if you're looking for a holiday palette, I definitely feel like this would be a good one, because if you color that yellow up, you have a nice little red situation, or a nice romantic palette for Valentine's Day or Sweetest Day, or just if you like romantic reds, I feel like this is a good palette for you. It gives like a twist to kind of monochromaticness because of the yellow and because of the pops of pink that she chose in here, because otherwise if it had been all red, I feel like it wouldn't be as interesting. So I really like the uniqueness of the color story of this, because it's not a traditional red. Because if it had been too red, it would have just been like the cherry on top palette from BH Cosmetics. So bravo to the uniqueness of the look. My son has woken up and I'm on my last video, which is perfect because we can pack up all this stuff and then we're going to go home. But the next set of palettes I have to talk about is Fantasy Cosmetica, like I was saying. So now you'll get to see what I was talking about firsthand. This is the Warlock palette. This is the newest one that they came out with. The Fighter came out before this. I haven't gotten that one yet. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to get it or not. Just based upon, color story. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this is a good palette to pair with the Exotic Skewer, and since it's back on top, I'll show it to you. See what I'm saying? Like, I feel like these would just pair gorgeously together. They both have that same kind of green. They have some nice jewel tone and shimmers. Like, this blue is a little bit lighter than this blue. Then you have a unique Iridescent shimmer with some, like, reddish base with like greens in it, and then you both have a red. So I feel like these would pair very nicely together, just because it's a cute little thing. And I might put it in my what do you call that video? The cult classic products of Black girl friendly versions or something like that. So I've been using this quite a bit. I actually had it sitting for a while because I wanted to film this video, so now I can take it home and use it some more. So I'm excited. Next, of course, my original fave before these other two came out that I'm showing you is the Sorcery palette. I mean, y'all feel like y'all should know why. To me, this is like a miniature version of like the Barbie palette from Glamlight, because it has the blues and the purples and then the pinks. And I feel like that's a lot of what the Glamlight Barbie palette was. The ColourPop one was more neutrals and then like pops of pink and blue here, but I feel like this one embodies more of the Glamlight X Barbie palette. So if you wanted a miniature version of the Barbie X Glamlight palette, because that one is kind of big, you might be more prone to and drawn to this one. I really love the color story of this. And as you can see, mine has been cracked up and abused, but I've been using it quite a bit. Next, I have the Rogue palette from Fenty Cosmetica. And this is what she looks like on the inside. To me, it's just like a fun, like grungiest palette with blues and purples that I'm definitely here for. It's definitely bringing like a little more smoke, but still a little bit of pastel. So I feel like it's giving a little bit of uniqueness to this type of color story, and I think that's why I reach for it, because I do like blues and purples. I like the fact that it has this like deep smoky green glow, and I can add like this light blue, this light purple, and make a like different sort of look. So that's why I've been reaching for those three in particular. Gotta make another video on that, so now I gotta hold that off even longer. See, I hate when I be coming up with ideas sometimes, but sometimes the idea ends up holding me back from being able to use my stuff. I'm not feeling that. Next, I have all three of the Doodles by the Bunny Gourmand Girls palettes. I love the color story she comes up with, so I own every single one. So let's start with the Spook. And the Spook is the last one I bought, believe it or not, just because I was like, I wasn't really feeling the vibe of the palette per se, because as you can see, it does give a little bit more neutral than the other two I'm about to show you, so that's why I didn't really try to tap in and buy this one immediately. I bought the Nightshade, which you'll see next first, and then I just bought this with it, and now you have a bundle where you can buy this and the Nightshade, or the Nightshade and the Haunted, which is the one I would have bought if I didn't already own the Nightshade in this, but they have some great stuff. You can use code Cage Makeup here. You can use my code, I think it's GELBEAUTY87 Dede Signature. You can use Karen's code Cage Makeup at Fantasy Cosmetica, because those are only three brands I talked about. And she has a code of Gourmand Girl, so you can use code Cage Makeup there as well. Next, I have the Nightshade. This is the one that I was like, okay, now I can buy a Doodles by the Bunny palette, because y'all know I love me a purple moment, and I love the purples and the way she put the purples and greens together. I think that's a unique twist, because I don't really look to do purples and greens together, but when she put in this palette, I was like, it makes sense. I can see it. Okay, I need it now. So then I went ahead and bought it, and I don't regret it. And I've used it like 3 or 4 times, and y'all know it's a big deal, because I don't, be using stuff like that often, but it's fire. Next, I have the Haunted one. This is the last one I own from the brand. I'm interested to see what other things they come out with, though, because I'm definitely interested in getting some. Okay, so here is what this one looks like, and everybody says this one looks really similar to Nightshade. I think I've shown y'all in other videos that they're not exact in the Haunted video, but for those who didn't watch my Haunted video, I'll go ahead and show them here now as well. So this is the Nightshade, and this is the Haunted. I can see why you think that. It's like they're cousins. They're not sisters, but like you can tell they're related, so that they're cousins. The yellows in here are different. I feel like it's a little bit more green in this one than there is purple, especially because there's little pops of pink in this one. So I think that's the difference between these two. But like I can tell, like like there was a similar idea behind each palette. But it was still executed out differently, which I can appreciate, because I feel like if you tried to make the same look with each one of these palettes, it wouldn't turn out exactly the same, and that's my idea of making sure that the color story is unique. So I don't think they'll turn out exactly the same, so that's why I feel like they're okay. I'm trying to put it to the side over here, sorry. Next brand I have, y'all know I love this brand too. This is Glamonatrix Cosmetics. They just teased another palette, so she's on roll over there. I have the Rich Romantic that came out this year, along with the Sugar and Spice. But this is the Nocturnal palette. This is what she looks like on the inside. As you can see, mine is well loved. Shades are dipped into. Mainly this shade, I really think that this one is unique and fun. And like I told y'all before, if you can't look at this palette any differently, look at it as quads. So you see that little quad right there? That's an easy quad for you to go to. See that one? That's a unique kind of fun quad for you to go to. And see this one? This is your everyday neutral with a pop of color quad. So if you look at the palette like that, it may not look so confusing, but I feel like sometimes looking at it as a whole like this, you're like, whoa, what's going on? Like, just look at it as quads, and it's so much easier with a lot of her palettes. Now this next one, at first I didn't like it when I got it, but once I found out that it was those shimmers that you have to put on top of stuff, because this has more iridescent base to it, then I was okay to work with it better. So this is the Glamorous palette. This is what it looks like. And again, I feel like it's just another one you can look at as quads. Again, we're going to do the quads. So here you got the blue quad with like the green unique shimmer. And then you got like the more sunsetish, I guess, quad for lack of a better term. And then you got the more like all these smoky with a pop of purple quad. So whenever you pick up one of these palettes, you can most likely look at it as a 6-pan, or you can look at it as a 4-pan of quads and get yourself a nice little eye look if you're confused. So that's the trick when you're buying a Glamonatrix Cosmetics palette of this size. And when you buy the bigger ones, I haven't really looked into how different it is, but I like to use the iridescent shades in here for inner corners alongside other Glaminatrix Cosmetics palettes, and sometimes I just like to use the colorful shades as transition shades if I don't want to like pull out my Blend Bunny palette and do all that. So there's that. Next I have, last but not least, into the Night palette. Now if you don't like the Pat McGrath Mothership 3 price point, then I would definitely recommend trying out this one, because it is definitely giving the vibes of the Pat McGrath Mothership 3 palette, and when I get to that palette I'll show them side by side. But again, this is one that you can look at as quads. So there's the fun quad, there's the smoky quad, and then there's the somewhat unique quad. I always feel like she tries to put a somewhat fun and unique quad in the palettes, and that's where this comes from. So yeah, that's the fun and unique quad. And there you go. Y'all, my battery trying to die, and I'm only like halfway done, so now I'm just upset. But I guess I can be halfway done and just bring the other half back another time. Worst comes to worst, so I'm gonna try to get through like 2 more, and then I'll just leave the other 3 here till tomorrow. Hopefully we can make it grow. So I'm gonna try to get through the Menagerie Cosmetics ones here and the Milk Cosmetics, so I can take those home, and then I'll do Pat McGrath and Natasha and Blend Bunny tomorrow, because I have to come back anyway. So yeah. But next we have the paws and the claws. Now, if you all remember, I got the claws for free. The brand ended up sending it to me. I had only bought the paws and something else. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was a highlighter. But they graciously sent me this, and I actually really like this. I like to pair this one with the paws. And if you all remember, the paws is a good alternative if you want the Huda Beauty Python palette, because they don't make that one anymore, I'm told. And this is literally like almost the exact same color story, except you get like a fun pop of light blue in the palette. You still get the same darker chocolate outer V shade and a lot of brighter tones. But anyway, this is what they look like together. I love pairing both these together. I made a gorgeous look that you all saw in my Natasha Denona ranking my midi and large palettes. I combined both these palettes to make that eye look, and I thought it looked stunning. So I will continue to use both these together. It's harder for me to come up with ideas with this one on its own, which is why I usually have to pair it with this one. But that doesn't make it great. They have since changed the color of the claws one, though. I heard they toned it down some, so it doesn't look the same as the one I have. For those of you who are interested in it, just know the color story isn't going to be the same. So next, y'all know I had to have Flight Club. I am a purple palette connoisseur. Now, I don't know if Karen has a code with Menagerie or not. I don't know if Menagerie has codes, so don't quote me. I think they might, because I think Annette's Makeup Corner probably has one since she did a collab with them. But y'all know I love this purple palette. Like, I feel like they chose such great purples, and then they chose like great mauves and gave you some fuchsias too. So it's a unique twist on a purple palette, opposed to just being all purples and royal and then different shades of purple. There's actually different shades of mauve and fuchsia and like berry that go along with the purple, and that's what I like about it. So that's why I reach for it more than the other ones, because it's not just simply purple. Last, I have the Indigo Ink. I would have picked the Nets palette, but I was trying not to pick palettes that were limited edition and they don't make anymore. So that's why I tried to make sure I left that one out. Now, there are a couple of palettes in here that are limited edition, but they're still being sold. Like, they don't sell a Nets palette anymore. So that's why I didn't want to put it in here. So here's the Indigo Ink. This is a good alternative to Tina the Fancy Faces palette from Side, the Hummingbird. At least some of you all told me that, because I did look with this one and I did look with hers, and you all said the looks look pretty similar. So I'm like, okay, that means that this could possibly be a good alternative for the people who didn't get Tina's palette or didn't know about Eye and her collab and just found her recently. This would be a good alternative for you to create similar looks as in Tina's palette. Now, you're not going to get this fancy shade fancy. That's just a one-of-a-kind shade that you're not going to find, but you can still get some similar looks with it, because this does have some similar tones, and that's why I reach for it. Sometimes I put it with Tina's palette. The majority of the time when I don't want to use up Tina's palette, I'll pull out that one and use it. Now on to Melt. So these are all the Melt palettes I use pretty frequently. The sad part is I think I've remade every palette except the Smoke Sessions. All the other ones that are on here I have redone myself. So we'll start with Smoke Sessions. This is what she looks like on the inside. Y'all know I love this one. I feel like this one isn't talked about that much, but it is a staple. This was like the first, like, I think, palette that they actually made. And I was here for it. It was a whole vibe. I love it. I am obsessed. She's giving, I'm living. Look at her. Like, look at her. It's gorgeous. The only downside is there's only dark matte, so you only have a dark matte for the outer V. You'd have to put bronze on your crease, so you'd have to reach out to, like, get other shades to do a look, or just do a super dramatic smoky eye, which I'm fine with. But sometimes, you know, you want to tone it down and just use the bright shimmer. So that's just something you have to keep in mind with this palette. You're not going to have those transition shades you want. But if you can just pull the bronze out of your crease, or pull out one of them 4 million Tarte palettes that always has like 5 nude shades when you only need one, then you should be fine. Sorry, a little bit of shade there, but hey. Next, I have the Blueprint. Now, you all remember from here on out, I recreated all these palettes myself. So my Blueprint palette looks like this. She's stunning. She's gorgeous. She's giving I'm living. Yes, I know. It's a gorgeous palette. I absolutely love it. So what I did was I just took all the grayish tone shades out of the Millennial Pinks palette and put them in here. And this was the original shade from here, and the rest of these are from this palette. So these three on the end are from Millennial Pinks because I bought the Millennial Pinks for like 20 or 25 bucks. And I wasn't ecstatic about the color story, but I know milk palettes are magnetic and removable, so I just moved it around to make it best for me. So I guess I'll show you my Millennial Pinks next. This is it. I ended up having the extra Gemini palette because my Gemini palette, like the adhesive started falling off, so I had to buy a new one, and I bought the new bundle with the Gemini 2 that you'll see in a few minutes. So I ended up with some extra shades from the same palette. So what I did was the extra greens I put in this palette here. And then I think this gold came from my, what's that palette? The Blueprint I just showed you. And this shade came from the 420 palette. So this is from 420. This is from Blueprint. And the rest of the green shades are from Gemini. Right? Yeah. So those are from Gemini. And that's how we created this color story here. I love the color story of this. I think it's unique. The only thing I don't really care about is this one right here. But that's okay because I don't have to reach for it. I just didn't want to have an empty hole in the palette. But I reach for this a lot because I really like the color story I created around it. It gives me the vibes of like Angie's palette, but with my own kind of like unique twist on it, without the special shades and stuff. So next, Gemini 2. Again, I recreated this. And this is what she looks like now. So I didn't like the fact there were all those dark mattes and dark shimmers. So I just took it upon myself to take some of my indie shades and scrape them out the pan and then repress them into these pans. So I don't remember where these came from though, so I'm sorry. I can't tell you where these shades are from. I want to say they're from Beauty. I want to say all three of these shades are from Beauty, but don't quote me. But I added these and I feel like it looks so much better because you get some bright shimmers to go with all the grungy darkness in here, because they have a tendency to do a lot of grunge and not give you a lot of like, brightness. And I want a nice balance when it comes to my personal palette, so that's why. We're on the last palette, y'all, for right now. So I have the Melt Cosmetics for the Mariposas palette. I believe that's how you say this. Or Mariposas, yeah. And this is what she looks like on the inside. Again, I recreated. I just took some limited edition dual chromes and trio chromes and put them in this palette, or multi-chromes, to kind of give it a little bit more balance, because I felt like this row here was just a row of ash that didn't work for people my skin tone, so I wanted something that worked better for me. So I made sure I put that together so we could have what's going on here. So that's pretty much it. So I guess I can end this video here, and I'll just do the other part another time so I can go home and find more palettes to go with the ones I have now. I might just take them all home. I don't know. It depends. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all the diamonds. Comment down below and tell me if you use any of these palettes and you have them in your collection. You use them frequently like I do, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe. Be blessed, girl. Bye.